Hi guys, Kim here. Are we in charge? Batteries are us. Interesting word, that, battery. Are we beating ourselves up as in a battery? Can you remember the section of the Matrix where Morpheus said we were batteries for power in this realm? What if we are the power that's running the construct and this is occurring because we are in charge? I think that we need to pay attention to the concept of being in charge. Is being in charge a positive or a negative experience? Would it be possible for us to power ourselves up having a positive or negative experience? So we are so powerful that we create our own prison until such time that we become in charge of our thoughts, words, deeds, actions. What we think we create, what we feel we attract, and what we imagine we become. So during my near-death experience in 2012, I became aware of falling into a spiral towards a light at the end of a tunnel. And I also became aware that I felt that my polarity had been reversed in this process. I had no idea what this was back then, as it was merely part of the experience. But is it possible that I went from a negative polarity to a positive one? So I went from having a negative experience in this realm to having a positive experience. And I don't think either one is like total. I don't think it's 100% positive experience. I think it's like a percentage. Like it might even just be I went from 60-40 to 60-40. I'm not sure how much of my life changed at that time to reflect that. However, both my sister and I, after having had near-death experiences, both of us said that the world appeared to be brighter or shinier upon our return. And I can remember being severely conflicted prior to that experience because I think, or because of my thoughts, so many of my thoughts were directed towards creating conflict within the reality that I lived in. But in the last couple of weeks, I've become more and more and more aware of how the stuff that comes out of my mouth in general is either a negative observation of the external world or a negative chatter about something that's declining in our reality or a negative chatter within myself. So I sort of decided that this was not really a good thing, and that at least 50% of what I express should technically be inclined towards the positive, mindfully. So if I go to say something, I stop before I express it. I'm frankly quite amazed at myself, meaning that I think of myself as a rather positive person overall, but I'm truly amazed at the amount of negative thoughts and ideas that I have and express. Sometimes it's necessary to express them, especially if they're stepping stones towards some sort of improvement, or in order to understand something that's occurring in my world that I need clarification on. But other than that, I think it's yet another tweak that I need to do in my already weird world. So to me, this is what's meant by being in charge. So I was having this conversation with Irish Eyes on Truth Meter Tribe Telegram channel. That's Anne-Marie's channel. And I'll link it below if anybody wants to join it. Anyway, Irish Eyes was talking about the concept of good morning, and it being the same word as mourning, as in grieving, and that the idea that we are awake, as in experience a funeral each day. So she was saying that perhaps when we wake each day we're dead, experiencing decay, I guess. I asked her what she thought it was, what she thought it meant for her to be dead, yet alive. And I will share her response with you because I thought it was interesting. She said, I think of alive in terms of electricity. In here, we are the currency that runs it. Maybe dead is also that term for when they can't magnetize us down their tunnel, like two positive, negative charged magnets that don't stick. I definitely think that we're experiencing this reality through an electric charge of some form. And I was even wondering about the feeling of tingles through our bodies and thinking that might be some kind of mild voltage bolt being sent to us to pay attention at that moment. Like it's hitting a chord and our internal self has put that into our operating system to build in this concept to allow us to pay attention to when we're getting something right. I know that some of my friends verbalize it as, oh, I'm getting tingles, that must be confirmation. But rarely do we center down on what it is confirmation of. I know a great many people around me right now who are worried about everything, worried about the future, not only for themselves, but for their kids and their families in general. I don't know about you guys, but when I try to get my head around what's happening in the world, or around the potential disaster, interesting, I just observed the word disaster, being Aster being star, and dis being, maybe that's the whole point of disaster, not a star anymore. Anyway, perhaps the whole thing's just imploding on us. That's all from me today. Thanks for listening. Ta-ta for now.